It's been 12 years since the founding of the Pro Dodgeball League. Aspiring youths fought their way through the juniors to one day become professional dodgeball players. 3 years before the release of the feel-good goofball movie Dodgeball, we'd get the first rendition of the slapstick-laden pseudo-sport on the Game Boy Advance. I've always naturally assumed this game must have been popular in Japan in the 90s, based on literally nothing but the number of JP exclusive Game Boy games based on it that there were. But then, as they say, a guy getting hit in the nuts 100 times in a row is going to be funny 100 times. However, this time we'd get the game worldwide. Like the sport and the aforementioned film, this one really doesn't take itself seriously, but instead focuses super heavily on fast-paced arcade action with a massive slab of humor covering the whole thing. It's daft as you like, but still a fun and challenging experience. I am eternally grateful we didn't have to play this in school gym class in the UK. As a lifelong spectacles wearer, I can practically envision the lens imprints on my face, but from what I understand, it's a fairly common occurrence in North America. Again, I'm literally only basing that on The Simpsons rather than any anecdotal evidence or actual research. In Super Dodgeball Advance, the idea is to pick a team from one of 10 nations. It doesn't make that much difference who you choose, they're all fairly balanced, and take them from rank 10 right up to rank 1 in the championship by beating teams above you in the league. You can choose to take on anyone, but the higher up the table you go, the tougher that team becomes, and the more progress your own team will make should you triumph. If you somehow don't know the rules of dodgeball, well, they're fairly self-explanatory. 2 teams of 7 play on a rectangular court that's divided into 2. 4 infield players can only move about within their half of this rectangle, and the other 3 players can stand on the outside edges of your opponent's half. The aim is to eliminate the 4 infield players by constantly ramming the ball in their faces until they have no health left. You can pass the ball about your team as much as you want, but you can't really step into the opponent's half, nor can the outer players progress much from their designated lines. It's a matter of trying to out-reflex the other team, as if your throw isn't strong enough, or if they have too much time to react, an opponent may dodge a throw or even catch it, meaning possession will more than likely go over to them. Controls are simple but responsive. When in attack, press A to pass to a teammate and B to launch a throw at whoever you're targeting. You can tell one of the players to make a mad dash to the center line by pressing L, which can be very effective to get some speed up on your throws. You can shift target by pressing R, but there's also a bit of proximity that comes into it as well. The targeting system never felt unnatural, and I found I could nearly always aim for who I intended to. The timing to get down comes when you haven't got the ball. Press A to attempt to duck a throw and B to try to catch it. Dodging is less useful than catching really, as unless there's another of your players behind the targeted player, the ball will just go back to the other team, so I strongly advise you to try to catch throws if possible. The ball travels really quick in this game, but the window to duck or catch is pretty wide, so you'll get it without too much trouble. Pressing A and B together will jump, which you can do on either offense or defense to do various things. Mastery of the game, especially at the higher levels, comes with these super throws. Each character has 2 super throws that they can use, one on the ground and one in the air. These are performed through well-timed inputs, and to do the ground one, you need to perform a dash, then on the 3rd step, you'll see what I mean, press B. The air one is slightly trickier. On the 3rd step, press A and B together to do a jump, then press attack at the height of your jump. There are 50 different super throws in this game, and all are very effective if you manage to get them down, not to mention looking pretty badass. You're even able to quickly transfer your super throw to a teammate by passing instead of attacking, then quickly attacking with the other guy. A great way to bamboozle your opponent, especially at high difficulties. Speaking of these individual special moves, you're actually able to build your team of 7 from any players you have available. They're not tied by nationality, despite being represented by a country on the map. So if you find someone who has a brilliant special move that you just can't do without, feel free to draft them. Once you become ranked number 1, you'll then play against a randomly drawn dream team, of which there are 5, I think. Beat them to unlock them and their roster. So yeah, pretty simplistic stuff by all accounts, but you need that in a game library sometimes. There's enough to get on with regards to unlockables, and you get a choice of 5 difficulties and can even alter a few parameters like how easy it is to catch or pull off your specials, so the game can grow more challenging as your skill improves. Some extra game modes might have benefited here, like an actual league season or something, rather than just arbitrarily climbing the rankings by choosing whomever you want. Especially in the multiplayer department too, which really only has a one-on-one quick match to offer. Massively wasted opportunity if you ask me. Presentation-wise though, it's really good for early GBA, with some ludicrously drawn character sprites and satisfyingly dense-sounding effects when players get hit. Want some mindless, sports-style action? This'll probably suit you just fine. Memorable? Not particularly. Great fun? Yeah, man.